Yes, let's say good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday. It's the first week of our class, year 2 in semester 2 of generation 12, major in English. So now, yesterday we finished section 1, section 2, and section 3, right? The basic of culture, language and culture, and norms and value, norms and value. But today we will continue from section 4 until section 5. Section 4 beliefs and material culture. Section 5 cultural diversity and similarity. Please continue with me together. Section 1 already. Section 2 also finished yesterday. And today we start section 4. Section 4 is beliefs and material culture. Besides norms and value, beliefs and physical objects make up culture. Not only norms and values, but also beliefs and physical objects are also they also make up the culture. The word beliefs here, it means ideas about the nature of reality. Ideas about the nature of reality. Reality is the real life. And physical object. Physical object, as I told you yesterday, it means relating to mind or sense. Material culture. Material culture. Here it means the concrete, tangible objects of a culture. The word tangible object, it means material object. Ideal culture includes the guidelines we claim to accept. Ideal culture includes the guidelines we claim to accept, while real culture describes how we actually behave. The word ideal culture, it's the cultural guidelines that group members claim to accept, but real culture is the actual behavior patterns of members of a group. Members of a group. And continue one more slide. Beliefs and physical object. Belief, talk about non-material culture, and physical object, material culture. The non-material culture involves beliefs, ideas, and knowledge. Belief, ideas, and knowledge involves all the non-material culture. One more point: the material culture is about how we relate to physical objects. The material culture is about how we relate to physical objects. It consists of the concrete, tangible objects within a culture. The word idea, belief, I told you at the moment, is the idea about the nature of reality. Idea here is a thought or suggestion as to a possible cause of action. And the word tangible, tangible, in here it means material. So now move to one more point. Belief and physical object. Continue. Beliefs are ideas about the nature of reality. People base their behavior on what they believe, even if their belief might not be true. Even though their belief might not be true, but all the people, they always base their behavior on what they believe, or you can say on what they do. The uses and meaning of physical objects can vary among societies depending on the beliefs, norms, and value people hold with regard to the object. The word vary here means differ, right? Can differ amount, mean different, right? Different amounts, different in amount of society, depending on belief, norms, and value people hold with regard. Regard in here means consider or think of in a specified way to the object. One more point. Ideal, ideal and ideal culture and real culture. The ideal culture talk about the cultural guidelines, and real culture talk about actual behavior. A gap exists between cultural guidelines and actual behavior captured by the following two concepts. Captured by the following two concepts. Yeah, the two concepts are ideal culture refers to cultural guidelines publicly embraced by members of a society. The word embrace, the word gaps here is a break or hole in an object or between two objects. Yeah, between two objects, in between of cultural guideline and actual behavior. The word guideline it means recommendation. The word actual it means existing in fact or existing in real. Capture, capture means express or represent. The word embrace here, the word embrace means hold or accept a belief, theory, or change. Real culture refer to real culture refer to actual behavior patterns, which often conflict with these guidelines. The word real refer to actual behavior pattern. The word pattern means model or an example for others to follow. Yeah. This is an example or model for others to follow, which often conflict. Conflict in here means disagreement, right? What the culture that refer or the actual behavior model, they always have conflict or they disagreement with this guideline section 5 cultural diversity and similarity. Cultural diversity is the quality of diverse or different culture. It can also refer to having different culture respect each other differences. Yeah. It can also refer to having different cultures respect each other differences. And cultural dissimilarity is the similar aspect of the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a society. Cultural similarity is the similar aspect of the ideas, custom, and social behavior of a society. Culture change. Cultures change according to three major processes. Yeah, culture change according to three major processes. Yeah, I will present you in the next slide. Yeah, three major processes that have in culture change. Culture content groups within them called subculture and counterculture. Culture content groups within them called subculture and counterculture. Yeah, it mean culture. In the group of culture, it contains two culture, subculture and counterculture, and one more cultural universe. But I will present you in the next slide. But in this slide, I will present you only the subculture and counterculture. Subculture is a group that is part of the dominant culture, but that differs from it in some important respect. Subculture is a group that is part of the dominant culture that differs from it in some important respects. And countercultures. Counterculture is a subculture deliberately and consciously opposed to certain central beliefs or attitude of the dominant culture. Dominant culture means controlling culture. Yes. So now please move to one more slide. People tend to make judgment based on their own culture. The word tend to mean move or go to make judgment based on their own culture, while apparently very different on the surface. All cultures have common traits or elements that sociologists call cultural universals. Yeah, cultural universal, as I told you at the moment. It is. It will have in the next slide. Yeah, we will present you in the next slide about cultural universal. But in here, the word apparently. Apparently, it means as far as one knows or can see. Right? Very different, very fast. Yeah, as far as. And what trait? What trait in here talk about the characteristic. Yeah, trait or element characteristic. Sociologist. Sociology is talk about someone who study in sociology. Yeah, sociology is someone who studies in sociology. Yeah, can you one more slide? Cultural change. Yeah, cultural change that I told you in the previous slide. Culture changes. There are three reasons. There are three reasons. The first reason is discovery. Yeah, the word discovery is the process of finding something that already exists. Yeah, I mean the process of finding something that already happened, that already exists, or that already occur in the past. Yeah. But now is the process of finding something that already exists. Yeah, in the world. Invention. The word invention is the second reason of culture changes. Culture changes. Invention is the creation. Yeah, creation of something new. Yeah, what you have to create what something new, right? Around us or in the world. Yeah, invention. What we create of something new. Diffusion. Diffusion, I mean, is the borrowing of aspects of culture from other culture. Diffusion, it means, is the borrowing of aspect of culture. It means, example, like the clothes, right, from all the Cambodian styles, like borrow the style, yeah, the clothes style from the Korean or from the Thai, yeah, something like that. It means borrowing aspect of culture from other culture, like Cambodian style borrow from the Thai style or Korean style. Yeah, something like that. This is we call cultural change. Yeah, cultural change. There are three reasons. Yeah, there are three reasons. Discovery, invention, diffusion. Please remember all together, everyone. One more slide. Cultural diversity. Cultural diversity exists in all society. Yeah. Cultural diversity exists or happens in all society or occur in all society. Yeah, in all society, they always have cultural diversity. But in cultural diversity, I will present you 3 points, three main points about social categories, subculture, and counterculture. Yeah, let's continue with me together. Social category. Social category grouping of person who share a social characteristic. Yeah, in here, social categories are groups that share a social characteristic such as age, gender, or religion. Yeah, age, gender, and or religion. Yeah, they are always they are always in the world, right? All the countries in the world, yeah, they are talk about social category such as age, gender, and religion. One more point of cultural diversity, subculture. Subculture is a group that is part of the dominant culture but differs from it in some important aspect. Yeah, in here, subculture is part of the dominant culture but differs from it in some important respects. Some important respect. Dominant culture, it means it's the cultural practice that is dominant with a particular political. One more point of cultural diversity. Counterculture is a subculture deliberately and consciously opposed to certain beliefs or attitude. Yeah, belief or attitude of human of the dominant culture. Yeah, talk about is counterculture is a subculture deliberately and consciously opposed to certain beliefs or attitudes of the dominant culture. Deliberately, it means on purposes, on purpose, on purpose. This is this 3 points we talk in the cultural diversity. The first social category, second subculture, and the third counterculture. Now we move to one more point. Is the last point in section 5 is also the last point of part 1 culture. Ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism, it means evaluation of other culture according to preconception originating in standards. Ethnocentrism is the evaluation of other cultures according to preconceptions originating in the standard. Ethnocentrism is the practice of judging others in terms of one's own cultural standards. Ethnocentrism is the practice of judging others in terms of one's own cultural standards. Yeah. In ethnocentrism, there are advantages and disadvantages of ethnocentrism. Continue. Advantages of ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism, there are 2 points. The first is people feel good about themselves and others. Yeah, the advantages of ethnocentrism. People feel good about themselves and others. Stability is promoted. Stability in here means strength, our strength or firmness. Yeah, it means our strength or our firmness is promoted in ethnocentrism. Disadvantage of ethnocentrism is inflexibility. Inflexibility, it means unwillingness to change or compromise. It means unwillingness to change or compromise. Yeah, this is advantages and disadvantages of ethnocentrism. Yeah. One more point. Oh, sorry, not that's all right. One more about cultural universal. One more point. The last point. Sorry. Cultural universal. There are 2 in here. I talk 2 points: cultural universal and cultural particular. Both of them are related. Yeah, both of them are related. The first point. Cultural universals are traits that exist in all culture. Yeah, this culture are always trait or that they are always happen or exist in the all culture, such as sports, cooking, and education. Cultural particulars are the ways that each culture expresses the universal. It means cultural particular that I say they are related because of cultural particular all the point, all the exist, all the action from the cultural universal, they are in the cultural particulars. Example: sports, cooking and education. Yeah, they are the ways that express in the universal. And also they are the way that each culture expresses the universal in cultural particular. Cultural universal continue. Yeah, cultural universal exists for 3 main reasons. Yeah, cultural exists for 3 main reasons. Yeah, please go together. The first one, the biological similarity shared by human beings. Yeah, the biological similarity shared by human beings. Yeah, you know human behavior, right? The physical environment. Yeah, the physical environment affecting all human beings. The physical environment affecting all human beings. And the last one, many countries face the same social problems. Many countries face the same social problems. Yeah, ខ្មែរមានន័យថាខ្មែរប្រទេសជាច្រើនប្រឈមនឹងបញ្ហាសង្គមដូចគ្នាមានថាតាក់ទងនឹងវប្បធម៌ ដែលតកតងវប្បធម៌គឺវាមានផលប៉ះពាល់រៀងៗខ្លួនគ្រប់ប្រទេសទាំងអស់នៅក្នុងសកលលោកណាដូចឧទាហរណ៍ចូលលើកឧទាហរណ៍ជាខ្មែរដើម្បីយើងងាយយល់មានថាវប្បធម៌ពីប្រទេសមួយចម្លងទៅប្រទេសមួយដោយការងាយស្រួលបំផុតឧទាហរណ៍ដូចជាកីឡាសិល្បៈច្រៀងរាំឧទាហរណ៍ដូចទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងបែបដូចច្រើនបានលើកឡើងណា Please continue key terms yeah in part 1 culture yeah the part 1 is culture yeah in here all the key term I want all of you to read it to take note all the key term right because it is very important they are very important yeah there are many key term right please read it culture society instincts reflex drive sociobiology symbol hypothesis of linguistic relativity norms folkways mores and law and one more slide sanctions formal sanction and informal sanction yeah, in sanction there are two parts two kinds of sanction formal sanction and informal sanction and norms there are 3 points folkway mores and laws and value non-material culture and material cultures and beliefs there are two idea culture and real cultures social category subculture counterculture ethnocentrism, cultural universal, cultural particular. Yeah, that's all for all the key term. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention. Yeah, question and answer. If you have any question about part 1 culture, you can drop your question in our Google Classroom or in group Telegram group, right? Or you can chat in private to me. Thank you everyone. Bye bye. Good luck.